Alright, welcome back to our third video. So this one right here, we are on the box dancing. It looks like we're going to be looking at SMB on this one. So the very first question is, what does the three-letter acronym SMB stand for? That's going to go ahead and be server message block. And it is server message block, awesome. What port does SMB use to operate? Port 445. Okay. And 139 is the legacy port for SMB. So 139 and 445, but 139 is the legacy port. What is the service name for port 445 that came up in our mmap scan? Okay, so let's go ahead and do that mmap scan. We'll copy this IP address first, right? As usual. And we'll go ahead, we're going to throw a, so I'm still with the other one. Let's go ahead and clear out these guys. CD back, go ahead and remove directory fawn there. And I already forgot the name of this one. It is dancing. Okay, so let's go ahead and make directory dancing. We'll go ahead and CD into there, right? And we'll start off with our mmap scan, tech P 445. We'll go ahead and do a version, default scripts, right? Just like we've been doing. If you're confused about what's happening, what we're doing with these different switches, go ahead and watch the other two videos before this, which is going to go ahead and be it's Fawn and Meow were the first two videos that we did in this series. So we're running our mmap scan port 445 here. Now there's a lot of things that can have problems with port 445. A lot of different things that can happen here. So that default scripts is going to take a little bit longer than the other ones did that we utilized before. Just try to see what the pings are at. I believe this is most likely a Windows machine. It is. And we can see that do the pings. So another way that we can actually look at this, okay, we're going to try a couple different things here. It seems that I actually didn't really like that very much. I did it. Message sign enabled but not required. Okay. So it didn't really seem to like that very much. I did it. So let's go ahead and see what is the service name for the port 445 that came up in our mmap scan. We're not really getting much now, are we here? It's definitely not Microsoft DS, I don't think. Question mark. Might be Microsoft DS, actually. It is Microsoft DS, okay? What's the flag or switch that we can use to SMB client utility to list available shares? So we can try to do is SMB client tech L. It's going to be a capital L also. Whoops. SMB client. There we go. Capital L. We can try to list shares in here. We can also try to utilize NXC or aircrack-ng. NXC is a new version of it, so we can try to utilize NetExec. So we can do an NXC SMB. That guy right there. Tag U anonymous. Tag P no password. Right, and we can say tag shares. Let's go ahead and see if this works like right here. And we do see this work shares like right here, so we should be able to use this also. And this will also give us the domain name too if there is one. It is dancing. And the nice thing about NetExec or aircrack-ng is that we can actually see if we can read and write to a share. So let's look right here, this work shares, we know that we can read and write to it, which means that we technically can get into it, right? So as an anonymous user, we can read and write to it. So we can do an SMB client now. 1234 / and then we'll put in work shares there. And let's make sure we spell that exactly the same. No password. Let's go ahead and see if we can get it with that. But that's going to be a TAC L, right? And then how many shares are on Dante? We go ahead and look at this like real quick. It looks like we have 4 shares, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 there. So let's go ahead and see if that's correct. That was 4 shares, but it is. What's the name of the shares we were able to access in the end with a blank password? And we know that that's work shares because we utilize NetExec, right? NXC here, and we can read and write to it, so we know that we can get into work shares. Just as your own information for your own knowledge, admin, C, and IPC, along with net logout are usually your main shares you're going to see. Right, anything other than that is usually going to be a user-made share. So what is the command we can use with SMB shell to download the files that we find? Just like FTP, we can do a dir in here, or an ls, right? And just like FTP, we can use the get command. Now a little trick to this, especially during CTFs, if you have something like this, what we can do is we can turn the prompt off, recurse on, and then do an mget star. And what that's going to do is that's going to download all the files that you're able to. And we should have even gotten that like right there. I don't think we downloaded a single one of those. We have to say yes each time. For some reason, did it actually download them all? Nope. We should be able to, with that prompt off, It should have just went ahead and downloaded them all for us. But sometimes the prompt off thing doesn't work. We go ahead and remove directory or something like that. We just got to hop back in here. Say that mget doesn't. Let's go and try hop back into here. Prompt off, recurse on, mget star. There we go. Now it's getting the files for us. All right, so we can see that it just got 2 files for us, right? And those are files that we can actually get to and actually, because there could be other stuff in here that we are denied to get into, right? But those are 2 files that we can actually get into and actually see, right? We can also sudo mount, I believe it's going to be tac t sifs. All right, cool. I already have one in here, so we go ahead and use this guy like right here. So we can also mount an SMB share. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. Let's go and make directory, we'll say SMB, and we can go ahead and we can try to mount this SMB share there. So let's grab this IP address like right here. We're just going to say /workshares, and then we're going to mount it to that SMB, right? We're going to try and mount it there. Just want to see if this works for us. Password, we don't have one. Might do like a tac-o user anonymous. Might do something like that. But we can now, as you can see, David mounts SMB, but we can see how that mounted those 2 like right there. So we can cd into Amy, and we have our work nodes, cd back, and we can cd into that James, and we have our flag.txt like right there. So we can also mount stuff, right? And we can go ahead and move both of those. Amy, James, and Amy into SMB. We'll have to do a sudo because it is mounted. Yeah, we're not going to be able to do it just because it is mounted. So I don't know why they actually didn't take that folder. Maybe because I didn't put the slash in there. We'll try one more time. Oh, now it's busy. And then to unmount it, we can do a sudo umount. Do something like that. And then we can say like sudo umount not mounted. Okay, so we can remove that. We can do a sudo umount James. And that would be to unmount it, okay? So now we can now remove it. And then remove James if we want to. And we can run that command again and remount it again. So this is another way to be able to do something right here with a mount. All right, and let's go ahead and keep going through this guy over here. I think I messed up my mount. Doesn't seem to want to mount like right now. Oh, it did mount. There we go. We got an SMB. All right, so what is the command that we use to SMB share to get files? Get, just like we did with just like we did with FTP, right? This time we use an mget just to get more than one file, right? With that star, but then we went ahead and mounted also. So if we cd in that Amy now, I believe it was, does she have the star or the flag.txt? Nope. James does. So if we see James now, we can grab that flag.txt. We go ahead and cat that, and we can see that it is readable by everybody. So we go ahead and cat that, and we can see that flag, thus throwing it into our last question right here. So hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you learned a couple different ways to be able to do this other than just using SMB client. We went through netexec, right? You can do the same thing with crap-map-exec. However, I would suggest you download netexec because that was still being updated. And we also learned how to mount it, right? And then get into that mount and be able to do things. And then also from there, how to unmount something, right? So we can go ahead and run that sudo umount command one more time for SMB. And sometimes it does not like to unmount stuff. All right, so we remove tac-rf SMB now, and that's gone. All right, once we unmount it, it's now gone, and we can go ahead and complete all of our tasks. So hopefully you all enjoyed it. Hopefully you all liked it and learned something. And I'll talk to you all later.